Good game.
Fallout New Vegas is here, and we've clocked 44 hours into the game so far, and here's how some of that went.
To the town of our free rode a stranger one fine day.
There's my little buttercup.
Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say.
Damn, you're looking tasty.
No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip.
It's the future, or a post-apocalyptic distorted version of it, and there's a war going on between two major factions, the militant NCR
This is a military outpost.
and the Legion. They're fighting for control of New Vegas and the nearby Hoover Dam and the water it contains. Water is life in post-apocalyptia. New Vegas is set a few years after the near-perfect game that was Fallout 3, but it's not really a sequel, it's more like a game-length expansion with heaps of extra stuff.
In a westernish setting, you play a courier who, while delivering a very important chip, gets shot in the head. But it's not game over as you get exhumed by Victor, a robo-Frankenstein, and so begins your journey to track down your killer.
Might I say you're looking fit as a fiddle?
You get to make more choices on your own in this Fallout. Not everyone is going to be highlighted red to kill. The Legion and NCR all have their own morals, and each has a different set of goals and agendas. There's also other factions to consider, and while it may be possible to have a diplomatic ending, there will be blood.
Yeah, and right from the first 5 minutes of this game, it stresses you out with those tough choices where you commit your talent points and which traits you pick. Traits are a return from the original games, and they're a bonus which also have an equal negative. They're so tough to pick, and there is a really wacky one in there too, which is I think why I found this guy.
Thank you for bringing Rhonda back to me, stranger.
And these rather crazy grannies. After a couple of hours, the game will ask you if you want to rebuild your character from scratch, and I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah. Bethesda have handed the development of this game over to Obsidian Entertainment, but some of their employees worked on the original Fallout games, and you can really see their influence. This feels like an even bigger game than the last Bajo.
So let's take a look at what's new. There's more color in the world, more vegetation, and Vegas looks really good, but it is a bit underpopulated, and I guess that goes with the whole post-apocalyptic theme, but I was expecting a few more people about. We played this on Xbox 360, and in some of the bigger rooms, there were quite a few frame rate issues. In fact, in the big fights, we had about 10 crashes in the first 40 hours of this game, and I'm a saveaholic, so I didn't lose anything, and the autosaves work quite well, but I hope there's a patch coming for it.
I wish they'd done a little bit more with the camera when you're interacting with people, and I also wish the free shooting had been a little bit better too. Later in the game, you do get some more forgiving weapons like the light machine gun, but in the end, it's mostly about the VATS anyway, which all remains the same.
There's new perks, and some of the previous perks have been balanced up a bit too, which is good. The dialogue is very focused on all the different factions and their struggle to survive in this world. It's definitely of the same standard as Fallout 3, and humorous and witty and interesting.
Yeah, everyone has their own story to tell and opinion on the state of things.
Seclusion has kept us safe, but the world around us is changing.
Chatting and prying will open up more XP opportunities and more quests. It's worth reading as much as you can because it really adds so much more to the experience if you understand the history of that person. It also helps you to judge whether you're okay to let them live or if you just really want their hat.
You sick bastard.
He was just his silent though he was 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more. 1 in 19 more.
And if there wasn't enough to do, another game with challenges. It seems to be the in thing this year. I also found reading was much more important here. Of course, you have your books, which give you those permanent upgrades to your stats, but magazines will give you a temporary buff to help you through a tricky situation.
I see the wisdom in that.
Or to repair a sex bot.
Please assume the position. Servos active.
I think newcomers will still be thrown in the deep end here, but most of the time you'll just be working out how the game works and falling in love with the freedom you have. Now you can mod weapons, make your own ammo, and there are different ammo types, some better against armor and some for flesh. Also, armor has a damage threshold stat, so on harder difficulties you'll need to think more about the right weapon for the right enemy and keep a few guns on standby.
Companions are very good for hanging on to that extra loot so you don't get over-encumbered, and everybody loves a robot dog, especially if you upgrade his brain. and the new companion menu makes it much easier to look after them.
You just gotta.
As you complete good or bad deeds, depending on your preference, different factions will grow to love or hate you, and this has repercussions in the prices of gear and access to certain areas.
I don't have any compelling reason to trust you, given your behavior. So no, I'm not really inclined to give you a job.
It's executed well, and you can really tell if they love you or hate you, or if they have mixed feelings about you, because they'll give you the shifty eye and they'll keep saying, pick a side, pick a side.
Everything you've been up to, I just don't know what you're trying to pull.
You can also wear different factions' armor, and this will disguise you, but I didn't really find that too useful. It's just more things to collect, and it's already hard enough just managing my collection of snow globes, chessboards, and garden gnomes.
Yeah, a lot of this game is about kleptomania and gear, and it would have been nice to have an updated inventory system to cope with it all. You spend so much time in inventory management, and you know, while I like that at times, more filters or maybe a trash system like they had in Deathspank, for example, would have been good. I just spent so much time scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. For those who like to punish themselves, there's the new hardcore mode, and if you play the whole game on hardcore, there's a surprise at the end. In this mode, Stimpaks heal over time instead of instantly, and they won't heal damaged limbs. You also need to keep an eye on your food and water so you don't get dehydrated. Ammo has weight. It's a lot of managing for a surprise reward. I still think it'll be popular though, Bajo.
Yeah, me too. I did turn it off eventually though. It's just, you know when a game offers you a surprise reward, you don't know what it is and you want to know what it is, but all the time it's just something stupid like a hat.
Thanks for playing through on hardcore. Here's a piece of artwork.
Yeah,
Yay.
I think if it had been more progressive, you know, a more instantaneous reward, then I would have definitely done it, but it's just way too much managing, so.
Yeah. Hardcore or not, you should definitely play this through on hard if you've played Fallout 3 though.
Even though this game is mostly just doing this and this, Fallout New Vegas is utterly compelling, and it's because it's a game of secrets. Along with all the locked areas everywhere, every character has a secret that just needs to be investigated.
This is most unusual.
I'm just desperate to find out everything about everyone and open every single locked door and safe, just because if I don't, I might miss out on something cool, and I want the cool stuff.
I'm not quite as obsessive as you, but I am a gaming explorer, and no journey is wasted here because you can fast track to locations that you've previously visited if you need to return there. Also, if you kill everyone in a certain location and you need to go back there for a quest, you might already have the item that they're looking for, which is really convenient.
Oh, you need that guy's head? Well, I just have it right here.
Oh.
There you go.
Fight alongside dogs.
It's such an achievement to give the game so much freedom of choice. It's just so clever, and because the game is so long, if you choose to kill a quest giver or if you accidentally do it, you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It's just the way you approached that particular part of the story. The compass still sucks though, and I know it's part of the hardcore nature of the game and the themes and the exploration that make Fallout what it is, but you'd think for a futuristic Pip-Boy armband it would have a slightly better GPS.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You particularly notice it in the design of Freeside, the town near the strip. It's really frustrating there. You'll spend quite a bit of time just bouncing around quest givers there on menial tasks. The good news is though, if you get bored, you can just head out anywhere and you'll find stuff to do.
To be honest though, the AI hasn't improved from the last game. It's not that crash hot and you'll get people running into walls and little glitch parties here and there. It's nothing that got in the way of a mission or a quest, but it's still there.
At least the Legion knows what they're fighting for.
We did find one bug where you can just get guns forever, but in the interest of good sportsmanship, we won't show you it, and rest assured that we threw them all into the dam. Well, mostly. Might have kept some. I do wish there was more of the quirky music, though. Just more of it, you know. It just adds so much to the game, but there's only a few songs.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but the ambient music was nice, though. Even with our criticisms, you have to admit this is still a massive, masterful game. You never stop learning and discovering new things. You're constantly driving the story forward.
Hex, this is one of the most time-stealing games for me this year, and I loved every second of it. I'm giving it 9.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
That spurs, that jingle, jingle,
You know, there's still so much we haven't touched on here, and I think even if we played this game for another 40 hours, things would still get left out because it's just that big. If you're new to the series, it'll take a while to click in why this game is so addictive, but once you do, it'll suck you in and submerge you totally. It's easily as good as Fallout 3 and a self-contained game in its own right, so I'm giving it 9.5 as well.